Good evening, everyone. So glad to see you. Welcome to Not All the Things. Today, we are going to be talking about sabbatical and sabbatical life and who can take a sabbatical. And hopefully, we all can. And so, I just want to welcome you all to the channel. I am so glad that you're here. I'm Dr. Davia. And on this channel, we talk about work life balance, or at least I try to, wellness, and wine. Today, I am having a nice, what am I having today? Oh, I'm having a sparkling white. It's really reasonably priced. It's called Thousand Lives. Can you see it? It's pretty light. It's almost like a prosecco, so it's really good. And it is so hot that I needed something a little bit cooler. So that's what I'm having. And I do hope that you get something out of this conversation. I'm so happy to have my sister, Dr. Crystal, with us, and she will be sharing some real, I think, gems and resources around sabbatical life. I also will share a little bit about a sabbatical that I happen to have taken. Mind you, it's been many years since I've taken it, but I do think that this is a topic worth exploring, especially if you are interested in potentially just taking a break, a career break, redefining for yourself what work should look like. And this is an opportunity for you to do that. So I just wanted to say welcome to everyone and bring in Dr. Crystal. Hello, Dr. Crystal. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Yes, namaste, sis.
Thank you.
Oh, goodness. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I am quite honored to be here.
Okay, and of course, as soon as I say how are you doing, I hear you went totally out. So answer me one more time. Let me see if I hear your sound.
Okay, I have a
There
I
you
have a mic
go.
on,
There
so
you
there's a
go. There you
we
go.
have to open it.
Push it up, push it up.
Yeah, I'm doing wonderful. I am joining you from Puerto Vallarta, Jalisco in Mexico. I haven't
Wonderful.
been to the beach yet, but we've been here like 2 days, like a day and a half.
Okay. Okay.
Lovely. And I have worked hard to earn this spot here today.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Tell me how you got there.
So I have been on sabbatical, believe it or not, 13 months today. I retired 13 months on the 30th of June. And 7 days after I retired, I took off for Europe. And I spent 4 months touring Europe, England, France, and Spain. Never made it to Portugal. Was really sad about that. Came home for the Thanksgiving winter holidays and then left again in February to tour Central America, Costa Rica, Panama, and Colombia. Went home for a couple of weeks, 2 weeks, and then came to Mexico for the summer. So I am, Mexico is like the size of the United States. So I've been
Yeah.
only two places. I'm
Right.
going to more places. I've been here maybe 6 weeks and I've got like 8 weeks to go.
Wow. That's
And so
amazing.
my goal was to be gone a year to 15 months and then to work on redesigning like this chapter 3 of my career. I'll be turning 60 in April and I intend to go back to more intentional paid employment. Although I'll still collect my pension, I will be supplementing that with some other income producing activities. So it's been a good, I can't believe it's been 13 months. I'm
13
literally
months. That's
13 out of
amazing.
15. Yes, yes, yes. And I
That's
know you're going to ask
amazing.
me later, like why 13, why 15, all of that, how
Yeah,
I planned
absolutely.
it. I'll talk
Absolutely.
more later about the technical pieces of why that made sense at the time.
Sure. Sure. How about we start off with something that's real simple with how do you define sabbatical?
Yeah,
How
I
does
knew
one
you were
make
going to.
sense of that?
So one of the things, so basically I have always been a person like a lot of black women who love education. So I have a lot of degrees. And one of them is in seminary. And from the time I learned about the background of the Sabbath and the whole God rested on the seventh day and what
Yes.
the power of seven and the power of rest and
Yes.
completion and celebrating that season of completion of seven. I just really felt like I didn't know how that was going to be meaningful to me later. I was like 30 when I learned about um, taking a Sabbath in seminary. And so the biblical concept of the Sabbath, most people know because on Sunday it's the
Right.
Sabbath day and you're supposed to rest.
Right.
But there's literally a Mosaic law in Leviticus that says in the seventh year, everything is supposed to rest. It was an agricultural society. The crops were supposed to rest. The people were supposed to rest. If you had a debt paid, I mean, if you owed a debt to somebody, it was canceled in the seventh year so that you could rest.
Wow.
That's what the book of Leviticus says. So I'm not a Bible scholar. I studied pastoral care and counseling in seminary.
I love
So
it.
this whole idea of psychological well-being, spiritual well-being is really central to understanding what is the Sabbath for you, what is rest for you. So, moving forward in the chronology, Harvard University was the first university to have what it called academic sabbatical. So, we think of academics, higher education professionals, as people who get a year of sabbatical. But the funny thing is, even then, they knew that scholars needed a year to rest and
Right.
restore in
Right.
order to be productive and creative. And
Right.
that was in 1880. But I think
Wow.
that what happened was as more people that look like you and me started entering higher education, they started turning the sabbatical not as an opportunity to recreate, and renew, but to do more work. It's just different work. So now
Yes.
you have to
Yes.
compete. You literally have to compete for a sabbatical against your peers. Only a certain number of people get it. And how you get chosen is by saying that you're going to write 10,000 pages of a book. I'm making that number up, but they literally are all these production things that need to
Right.
be done during the year that you're supposed to rest. Well, fast forward to today, now we think of a sabbatical as any intentional time that you take off from your paid employment, doing the job you normally do, to basically rest, recuperate, renew. And it may mean travel and other professional development. It may mean getting a certification of some sort. But the main goal is for you to come back renewed and recharged. So you don't have to be an academic, you don't have to be a farmer, you don't have to be
Yes.
a researcher. You can ask for a sabbatical. And most companies, when you're being hired, I think that's the time to ask them, do you have
Absolutely.
sabbaticals in place? What can I do
Right.
to be eligible for a leave of absence of a period of time to basically focus on rest and renewal and restoring my energy to come
Energy.
back and be stronger in that eighth year.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Yes.
we know that when the crops rest on the seventh year, the eighth year has a harvest and bountiful that is
Absolutely.
unexplainable with the natural physical forces.
Absolutely. I
So the
love that.
power of a year of rest, I mean, is sort of embedded in our DNA. It's embedded in who we are as living beings.
I
So
love
I
that.
think everybody deserves a sabbatical. Everybody deserves a sabbatical.
I
So for me,
so agree with you.
it was important to take a sabbatical or career break, if you prefer that term, because I knew that the pace that I was going at was unsustainable. And one of
Right.
the things people often ask me is, how do you know that you need a sabbatical?
Right.
Everybody needs a sabbatical,
Right.
but for me, I was starting to having chronic stress related symptoms that I knew were going to take me out of this world if I didn't do something drastic. I literally at the third funeral of a Black woman in higher education over the
Right.
age of 50, I felt like the Holy Spirit said they will be, we were sitting, you're sitting with your
Right.
colleagues at the
Right.
funeral or at the repast
Right.
talking about how wonderful so and so and so and so was and how they worked hard and looking
Right.
at their kids and their grandkids walking around sad.
Right.
And literally I felt like the Holy Spirit said, these people will be sitting at the table for you if you don't change. And that was when I was 54. So I wasn't yet eligible for a for retirement. So
Right.
for me, deciding to retire early and collect my pension made it
Right.
possible for me to combine that with my savings. So I started saving at 54,
Right.
not quite 55, knowing that I would leave at 56. And let me tell you how toxic the workplace is. Nobody is going to congratulate you and say, yes, Davia, you deserve a sabbatical. You deserve to
Yes.
rest. They're going to be like,
Yes.
no, we can't afford to use you. We need you to do this. We need you to do this. We need to do this. So I
Right.
actually retired at 58.
You
Actually
you
retired at
stayed an
58.
extra
But
year.
because I paid down debt, I was able to pay down additional debt. I was
Right.
able to renegotiate to 100% online classes. I
Nice.
moved into my daughter's house. I downsized everything I owned in Chicago. I gave away or sold.
Wow.
And I worked that last year, the year between 57 and 58, from McDonough, Georgia. And that was another way that I was able to be
Right.
able to be gone, for X number of. What I learned about myself is I'm not a budget traveler. I am a budget traveler, but I don't desire to be a budget traveler.
You know what? You have said a mouthful, Dr. Crystal. First of all, you said everyone deserves it, right? And so for people who are listening and think you only if you are in academia can you get a sabbatical, that is untrue. You definitely need to ask. It may be called something different at your job. It could be called a leave of absence. But one,
Hmm.
you have to reach out. You have to ask the questions. I hear you. I also hear you
Hmm.
saying that you were being very intentional about knowing when you wanted to leave and knowing how you wanted to save, and that you were going to make the move that you needed to do. So you had to put some things in place. Selling your
Hmm.
house, moving in with your daughter, you were making some big moves, and you were being
Yeah,
very
yeah.
intentional about that. So that to me is separate and apart from, but also a part of this idea of you knew you wanted to rest and you knew you were going to figure out a way to do that. So you were aligning yourself in a way that not all of the times when people take I'll call it a traditional sabbatical, they are doing all of those other things. So that's really
Hmm.
important for people to hear also, that you were aligning yourself in a particular way. I want
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
before we go forward, I want to say hello to who's here. Hello, Dr. Maya. Hey, hey, hey. I am going to be on Dr. Maya's channel on Friday, and we're going to be talking about Thailand and Malaysia. So thank you for being here. And all right. All right. Hi, Tori's here. Prophet Mother. Hey, lady, I would like to take a sabbatical. We need to figure out, but I think you work for yourself. So I know that that might be an interesting thing to do when you are working for yourself, but maybe there is a way to do that also. And I wanted to also just share that Prophet Mother has a soft landing circle that she is offering to expats. And I will find my link. Maybe she can type in the link and drop that in here. I will be joining that group because I will be transitioning to Thailand and definitely feel like I need to be in community with folks who are making those kinds of moves and want to kind of talk about that. So I am so glad that you are here. Um, Dr. Maya said, "Oh, Dr. Crystal, I'm loving that hair. Looking good, sis." I love
I'm
that.
channeling Angela Davis.
Yes, why not? Why not? And then there was some conversation going on, and I think Dr. Maya was asking Prophet Mother where she would like to go if she was to take a sabbatical. And so she said Chile, Portugal is on the top of the list. So thank you all for being here and engaging in this conversation for sure. I love this. Everyone needs a sabbatical. What I know you started
Yeah.
to talk a little bit. Well, look, before I go on, let me just see who else is here because I have to scroll down. Okay. Oh, yes. Hey, Q. Yes, she's an entrepreneur. She is trying to figure out how to take a sabbatical in her 57th year. I love that. Let's do it. There's a 7 in there, so there must be a way to do it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Hey, Wendy, there are some websites to help you save money or to let you see, how comfortable, yep, to retire. Absolutely. I know I've used those. Sometimes the number that we think in our head is different from the real true number because it all depends on how much you want to be spending and what you think your expenses are going to be, and if you live in a different country other than the US where your money may be able to go further. Yes, Angela Davis would be proud. Indeed. Indeed. Absolutely. All right. I think that is all of the comments. So now I will go back to some of the questions. I know you started to talk about how you were feeling yourself and why you felt that you needed to take a sabbatical. Was there, and you said that moment that stood out for you is that you were sitting at a funeral for
Mm-hmm.
another colleague or other colleagues who have been
Mm-hmm.
working hard and worked themselves so hard that they had passed away, and that was enough of a trigger for you
Yeah,
to say
brain
you had to do it.
aneurysm,
Oof.
a stroke, cancer coming back for the third time. These are the types of illnesses that Black women were debilitated with because of the chronic stress that they were
Right.
under in higher education in these
Right.
jobs. And I was at the time, running a program where we were understaffed and we were perpetually and systemically understaffed.
Right.
And rather than fight for resources and refuse to do things and disappoint students,
Right.
I would just suck it up and keep going, which is the
Right.
way we are socialized to believe we're supposed to work,
Yeah.
right? Always at
Absolutely.
200%, always at 200%.
Always.
But what I was seeing in the environment around me is that this type of behavior was not sustainable. And you're between high blood pressure, heart attacks, all these stress related, these things are preventable. Our bodies are not designed to be under that type of stress. I was struggling with insomnia, I was having headaches. And I just knew that I had to do something.
Right.
I lost my mom at 47.
Yeah.
And I just did not want my kids to have to go through. But I don't think you're ever really, if you have a good mom and you love her and she
Yeah.
loves you, or
Yeah.
a dad or whatever parent figure, it's tough. It's
Right.
tough to move on after them. And I just said, I have to do the things that I know I can do to save my life so that I can be here in my 50s and 60s and 70s for my
Yes.
children and the next generation after them.
Yes. Absolutely. No, I think it was really smart for you to listen to your body and to listen to how you were feeling. Sometimes we don't do that. I have to say,
Hmm.
when I was eligible for a sabbatical at
Hmm.
my job, the rule was you had to work at least 10 years in the company and be vetted. And you had to be teaching at least 60% load, which was at least days, 3 days a week. And you had to have that 3 days a week for those 10 years. So you couldn't have,
Mm.
they had all these little loopholes, but nonetheless, I still didn't apply for sabbatical until my 12th year. And that's when I was able to get it. And so I didn't even know. Someone had to tell me, who was on the job, aren't you able to go for sabbatical now? And I was like, what's the sabbatical? I had no idea. We were just, again, like you said, just working. And I also didn't know the rules either. I did go to HR and I started asking some questions, and they said, oh, yeah, we have to see. Not everyone gets approved. Just because you apply, you don't always get approved.
Mhm, mhm.
So that was something to know. And you had to decide if you were taking a half year or a full year. So if you were taking a full year sabbatical, you would take your salary at half pay, which was generous. I, of course, was younger and was thinking, no, I can't take a whole year off from work. I took a 6-month sabbatical with full pay. And you had to do some kind of a research project. I did a video project. I actually helped to design and create a farm school in Zimbabwe. And it was a wonderful experience. It was the best experience I had had. And I definitely want to share some photos of that. But it was a lot of work. Like, it wasn't like I was really off. I was off because I wasn't at my job, but we were working our tails off. We had to build furniture. We had to find teachers, train teachers. The parents were coming, so that was wonderful. But these were parents who were bringing their kids into the fields with them while they were working on the farm. And the farm manager, who was a woman of color, said she did not want that to happen. She really wanted a place for them to go instead of being in the field. So I was fortunate
Mm.
enough. But if I had not asked some questions and that opportunity literally just showed up. So I'm just going to share a few. These are some photos of our teachers. This is me in 2011, moons ago, when I had locks. And we were teaching them all kinds of games to play with the kids, training them. We brought all the materials, and these were our families that showed up. This was like honestly life changing for me and an amazing experience that opened me up to different cultures in a way that I, didn't realize that these kids
Mhm.
and these families wanted good quality schools just like our kids in the city, in New York or in the States would. So it was it was really an amazing experience for me. And I'm thankful that someone said to me, "Girl, you are eligible." And I asked the questions, applied, and was able to get it because it doesn't always happen that way. Does
Mhm.
not. What were some of the steps that you took when you were beginning to plan for your sabbatical?
Well, I was in the Exodus Summit, which one of the goals of, I think it was the 2022 summit was my first one. So the minute that I heard about it, I immediately started following people who were taking career breaks and sabbatical online, joining their email list, watching their, whatever content, whatever format or platform they were on. And so as a result, Rashida Dow came into my purview, and she interviewed Katrina McGee right as Katrina was writing this book called Taking a Career Break for Dummies. And she was looking for reviewers. You've seen the series for dummies. It's all,
Right,
how to
right.
play golf, how to cook, whatever. So
Th-
so I signed up and was selected and wrote a review for the book. And in doing that, I think there were some other things you were supposed to do when the book came out. I ended up getting a free coaching session with her. So I was
okay.
sort of intuitively already on the path of doing things. I hadn't actually spent any money. Um, so the book came out in 20, I want to say it was the summer of 2023. So definitely check out that book. You can put Taking a Career Break for Dummies, Katrina McGree, Katrinamc, capital Ghee. You could just Google her. Because now she was I think a lawyer along with Rashida, and so they kind of came out of the same system together. But it is a very, very detailed, comprehensive, step by step, literally a book, not a blog article or a checklist. So I also on my channel have sort of a sabbatical planning guide, but it's like 20 pages. It's a digital download. And if I think about it, I will update the link and I will send it to you. But
Yes, do that.
this is like a dummy's guide is like 300 pages, and every chapter has a checklist. It has an overview. It has
Nice.
things to think about, resources outside of the book. So I use that book like it was the Bible, honestly. And it really, now that I've been gone 13 months, I'll be honest with you, it's the best tool out there that I could think of.
Really?
If you're an old school person and you like a paper and print, if you like a printed something
Right,
where
right,
you can
right.
highlight and cross off and see what you haven't done, I would even take, so things that I hadn't done, I would take pictures of it and then I would put it on my calendar to do because I was still working and still working, doing all, you're not all the things. I was working and doing all reading this book and trying to get my exit together. I had set a goal to save $25,000, but by doing all of the exercises in the financial planning part of the
Right,
book, I
right.
found out that I actually only needed $18,000
Okay.
because it was going to supplement I was house sitting, so I wasn't
Oh,
paying for lodging the first 2 months. And then on top of that, I was doing some consulting projects that were going to spill over. Um, and what happened was, you know how when you do anything, that's kind of freelance, you get paid when you get paid.
right, right.
And so I was counting on the fact that I was probably not going to get paid while I was still collecting my full salary. And like most teachers, my pension, your pension can be anywhere from 45 to 65% of your salary.
Right.
So in the US, you can't live off of an academic salary.
No, not at all.
45, really, you could barely live off of 100% in Chicago. I was using every penny. Okay,
I
so
know
I was
that's
living off
right.
of 100% in Chicago. So also remember moving in with my daughter meant I was able to then live off of 40% of my salary for that last year that I was collecting my salary. And so that's really how I was able to pay off the debt, the credit card debt that I had.
Right, right,
And
right.
I'm grateful that that worked out because that wasn't a part of the plan when I got the book and started doing the exercises. So, long
Nice.
story short, I came back on budget and then I spent
That's
3 months.
amazing.
Being in the United States costs a lot of money. That was where I went off budget.
Yep.
So I was supposed to only be back between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Right.
And I was back between like November 15th and February 15th, and for a variety of, I don't know if there was social, I don't know what happened,
Right.
I have no idea, but if I had taken my behind back to Central America like I was supposed to in January,
Yes, you
I
would have
would have
stayed in
not been
budget.
over budget.
You
I
would
would
have
have been
stayed
able
on
to
budget.
stay on budget. But staying in the every time you go back to the US, I guarantee you will be out of budget because it is really difficult, honestly. And there's a lot of unexpected things that happen that you can pay
Right.
for and sort of suck
Right.
it up. But when you get in the US, housing is so crazy expensive. Lodging is expensive. Food is
Lodging.
expensive.
Right.
Ubers are expensive. I'm spending an average in Mexico of $2.75 per Uber. And how about I'm riding only in Uber Comfort? I'm exclusively not the Uber because I
Right.
refuse to be in any mode of transportation that's under $1. I just refuse. I
Yeah,
just believe
okay.
that I'm worthy
I'm worthy
of
of the
more than
comfort.
$1.
You are worthy of the comfort. Indeed. But
Yeah.
wait, can we just sit with the fact that you were living off of 40% of your salary and paying down the bills. And so again, it's the planning and the intentionality, Dr. Crystal, that you were putting into this so that you could really prolong this sabbatical for yourself. And I think that's fantastic. I think that there's
And
something to be said by that.
if I'm honest, I gotta be truthful about one other thing because this is another mindset thing. We are under such attack. So a lot of times we're spending money on things that we don't need to
Right.
kind of self-soothe what we're
Right.
going through. So I lived in a very expensive high rise in downtown Chicago
I
with the
know you
doorman,
did. I know
with
you
service
did.
elevators, with people who loaded stuff for you and
Right.
saw you coming up and helped you do things
Right, right, right. Which you
with the
deserve
business
though.
center and with school. But honestly, did I really need that?
Did
Did I need any of that?
maybe
So
some of it?
because I was spending basically $2,500 a month
Right.
on
On
lodging.
right.
When I moved to Georgia, I basically paid like half of my daughter's mortgage, which wasn't even $2,000.
Right.
So I'm
Imagine
really
that.
grateful. Yeah, so I'm really grateful. Yeah, for like a four-bedroom house. Yeah.
So even
So
even
in Georgia,
location,
things are
regional.
expensive. Now she's not in Atlanta proper. She was in like the suburbs of the suburbs.
Right. Right.
But I'm really aware that because I was working so hard, I needed those comforts to sustain the fact that I was working 12, 14-hour days. I
Right.
walked across the street to get on a train to take an hour to be at work for 11 hours, hour ride back. And when I would come in, I literally could only show up at the door. I needed somebody to meet me at the door and help me carry stuff in
That's right.
and
That's right.
provide those other comforts. And I'm
Those other
really
comforts.
because when you're not taking care of yourself and you're not sleeping right and you're not eating right, and I was in a neighborhood where it had like 20, all the food places, anything you can imagine, food in Chicago is
Right.
available on Michigan Avenue in the South. Okay,
Right. Right.
so
Absolutely.
for argument's sakes, once you take care of yourself, you find that there are some things you're spending money on that perhaps you could invest that money in other things. And
Absolutely.
what is it? I forget her name, but she calls it I think the oh shit plan or the hell no plan or the something like that
No.
plan. I forget. Yeah, it's another person that's in the Exodus Summit community that speaks all the time. I can't think of her name, and she's a former teacher too. Somebody in the chat might know it, but yeah, she calls
Okay.
it. The O Shoot plan.
The old shoot.
Yes, that's the O Shoot fund. That's what it is, but
Okay.
not shoot, the other word. The O
Yeah,
Shoot
yeah.
fund.
Okay.
Yes, when stuff hits the fan and you just gotta you gotta hit the dot hit dies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it. I get
get
it.
out of it.
I get it. So, what
So
has been the biggest?
definitely.
What's been the biggest challenge? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that so I am still a person who worked in a toxic work environment for 17 plus years. And I still approached my sabbatical like it was a competition to get a lot of stuff done. For
Wow.
example, the house sits. I've told this story on some other, when I was interviewed before, I think it's Yolanda's channel. I did 8 house sits in 11 weeks in 4 different parts, not 4 different cities, but 4 different parts of the country of England. So when on the 2 or 3 days that I gave myself between house sits, I was
Right.
between trains and
Right. Right.
I couldn't really relax and enjoy it because again, you're taking care of people's homes, you're taking care of people's pets. There was really no rest
Right.
in the first 2 months that I was gone. And
Right.
so I found that I was worn out and I started having problems with, like once your body realizes that it doesn't have to do what it used to do, it starts sending you more messages of things you should be
Yes.
doing to take care of yourself.
Yes.
So I definitely suffered some health related issues began to manifest themselves, and I was able to take care of a lot of that. And I'm really grateful that I was able to prioritize health in the second
Right.
part of my sabbatical. So in
Right.
Costa Rica, I had 3 or 4 very expensive dental procedures done for about 30% of the cost of what it would have cost for one
For one.
implant in the
For
United States.
one.
It's
Yes.
4 grand. I know people who've paid between 3 and 4 grand for one. So I got four, as well
Wow.
as a root canal and teeth whitening and a cavity
Nice.
filled, all for under 4 grand.
I
Well
love
under
that.
4 grand.
Well
You're
under.
just over 3 grand.
That's amazing.
And I
And
am still, I would have never known to do that because once you leave and you start opening
right.
your horizons and being curious and meeting people and seeing what they're doing, you can then take advantage of some of the things that other people around the world are not spending money on.
Right.
The other thing
Right.
I've learned about healthcare, when I got to Mexico, I had an injury stepping in a funny way off of a plane, and I
Right.
had a house call. I had a doctor come to my Airbnb my second day in the country, Mexico. This was in June this year. And for $65, she came with an assistant, gave me an hour-long intake, questions, exercises,
Wow. That's
all the things they
amazing.
do, poking and prodding your knee. She wrote prescriptions and then has consistently called me every week for follow-up on WhatsApp to check in on how I'm doing. Making sure that the medication and the dosage is
Right.
appropriate and that I'm not
Right.
on anything too long, changing that up. So a few weeks ago, she really wanted me to get an x-ray and to get, what do you call the bone doctor? Um, an orthopedic
Orthopedics. Yes, the
specialist.
orthopedic specialist.
He also came
No
just
way.
2 weeks ago to see me again and was only $55. Now, mind you, I have just as out of pocket US
Right.
dollars. I mean, you're
Right.
paying in
US
pesos, but
dollars. Right.
the
Right.
equivalent was $1,000 Mexican pesos, which is the equivalent of $55. That day when I went to the cash machine was the equivalent of $55. Yes, and I
That's
found
amazing.
out the knee. So I'm doing better now. I'm not having any issues anymore with the knee that I hurt. But the X-rays were. I got an estimate for the X-rays, which I did not have taken because now I'm not in any pain.
Right.
$77 for 2 films of each knee.
Right.
And unlike the doctors in the U.S., he did not prescribe for the X-ray
Right.
technician 20
20 other.
shots.
Right. Right.
He
Right.
asked for 2 shots of each knee.
And
Yes,
that was
and it was
that.
going to be $77
He asked for what
all
he
in.
needed. Isn't that something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So I
these are
mean,
the
you're learning
experiences
so
that I'm having
much.
that have really changed my life and changed the way I look at healthcare, changed the way I look at
Yes.
restoration.
Yes.
I'm just really grateful that I had the presence of mind to just keep going. I think it's so easy for us to say, I don't deserve it, I don't need
Right.
it, I can wait, I need to save more
Absolutely.
money.
Absolutely.
But you don't. You don't.
Yeah. I think that's
You,
really, really important. Don't talk yourself out of something that you truly could use and need and deserve. We're
Hmm.
really quick to say no to ourselves. That's my biggest issue. My family's always like, "Come on, mom, you can have that." I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need that right now. It's
Hmm.
habit. It's habit forming, and I am definitely, I hear in you so much learning from experiences that you've had outside of the country because you've been on the sabbatical and open to these experiences,
Hmm.
and having a willingness to just say, all right, well, this is what it is. This is what I have to do. Tell me what you think your definition of productivity has how has that shifted since you've been on sabbatical? Because I hear you using phrases like being in competition, continuing to grind, things like that. Are you leaving some of that language and action behind? What is that?
Yeah, I mean, I have this framework that I am working on, and part of it is productive rest.
Oh,
So we need to
okay.
put the same intentionality and the same focus on how do I create a life where rest is heavily integrated into the way I think about what I do. And I have an evolution. I mean, I'm having an evolution that I should say is still ongoing. And one of the reasons why I've not been able to come to terms with this enough to like release it out into the public, quite honestly, is because I'm being hard headed. I am still drinking the Kool-Aid. I find myself in situations. There's this wonderful, I know you've heard of it, thing where there's a hole in the street, and the person goes and they fall in the hole, but then they learn how to get out of the hole, and then they go around the hole, and then finally at the end of the poem or whatever, the person remembers that there is
Hope.
danger in that street, and they go a
Right.
different direction.
Right. Right.
So that is me. So
Okay.
I am not yet at the place where I see that this street holds danger and therefore I will go a different way. I am still finding new and better and faster ways to get myself out of a
And,
hole. I'm
okay.
finding myself in holes and saying to myself, what do I need to do to get
Right.
out of this hole faster?
Right.
And my example will be, as you know, I took the Teaching English as a Foreign Language certification course. In my mindset was I need to have a job. I need to have something to do. So a
After you just
year
spent
after I'm
13
on
months
sabbatical,
without having a job and you know that you've been able to do it.
I made this decision in January. So I
Right.
paid
So
for
you
this course
right. So now
on
you had
the
to take the
anniversary of
course.
my retirement. Because you know that's the way we think,
That's the
right?
way we do.
So even though I was out of the cage, I was not willing to act out of the cage.
Right.
I was like,
Right.
just in case I want to be in a cage again, in
Just in
January, I
case.
paid the deposit for this course 6 months in advance. And literally,
Right.
the 1 year anniversary of my retirement was the first day of this course. And I have promised, and I'll say this publicly to all the people out here in the world, as they say in Beyonce's internet,
In these internet streets.
these internet streets, yes. If I ever tell you again that I have signed up for anything that has the word intensive in it, you have permission
To say no, don't do
to
it.
throw something at me, to throw something at me. Because here's the thing, we think we need to be in intensive stuff.
I,
I don't know why intensive express is so appealing. It's so sexy to us when somebody
you
says,
know
well, oh,
why?
you can do 12 weeks of work in 4 weeks. Why
Because
the
you
hell
know it's
would we
going to
want to
be
do that?
over in 4 weeks, and it feels doable. I totally get how you could sign up for a course like that, even though
Well,
you
I
know
kind
you didn't need to.
yes. So I did a 1 week Spanish intensive. I tested into intermediate,
Oh,
which was crazy because I and Jesus know that I am not an intermediate Spanish. Anybody who's in the WhatsApp group for Spanish
oh
that we
my
have
gosh, you
knows I'm a beginning Spanish. I'm at best an advanced beginner or an experienced beginner. I've been taking lessons for 4 years, but I've been off again, on again
right.
type of student.
You are
Yeah, so I
funny.
did a 1 week Spanish intensive in intermediate. I got the book and I was like, oh God, what the hell? This is gonna be tough. So anyway, I was ashamed to go back and after the first day and say, oh, I can't do this. So I had to stay in there and keep
Oh,
up
oh,
with it. And
you
then the
you
next
had
week,
to. You had to stay in
I
there.
felt that I had to. I felt that I had to. And then the following week started the intensive of the teaching English as a foreign language
Oh
class.
boy, you
So I
really
just
jumped in.
completed that. And here's another example of my unwillingness to not do all the things.
Mm,
How about I graduated with distinction,
of
which is
course.
the highest level that you can graduate with
Of
of the
course.
certification? Yes.
Yes,
So
of course,
we
because
did
that's who you
papers,
are.
we did micro teaching, we did observed teaching, we did peer observations, we did unobserved conversation classes. It was the most work. I think it was even more rigorous than the doctorate that I earned from one of the top psychology programs in the nation.
No way.
Because
No
even
way.
though that program was rigorous, you weren't there Monday through Friday from 9 to 6 doing practice teaching at 7 a.m., 8 a.m.
Right.
before you started your 9 to 5 day. So
Mm.
you had a choice of morning teaching. So I was fortunate that I very rarely got a 5 o'clock or a 7 o'clock class. I always taught in the morning before we came.
I,
But it
I
was
just
horrible. It
I
was
just
horrible.
I just want to say that this is the sabbatical conversation, and this is not feeling very sabbatical like.
Well,
I
I have
am
spent a lot
so
of time on beaches. I've spent a lot. I mean, I did a
okay.
yoga retreat. I did a meditation retreat.
Okay.
We did the Tula day trip.
Okay.
We did the arts and craft Talakapaki day trip. I've spent a lot of time brunching. I've done a lot of
Okay.
sleeping in. I've done a lot of reading books for. I've read. I try to read two, not read or listen to two books for fun every month. So I mean, I'm really leaning in. If you look at my YouTube channel and just the
Yes.
thumbnail, I've been
Yes.
out here having fun. But I
Okay.
do find myself caught up in a hole that looks like an intensive Spanish course, an intensive certification course. So
Oh
I
my
am still
goodness.
out here learning that I don't need to do all those. I do not need to do all the things. It's
To
not
not
necessary.
do all the things is so not necessary. It's not
Yeah.
necessary. So, what have you learned about yourself during this time?
Is that I am at best a recovering um, person from a toxic system, and that a lot of times I feel like in my conscious, I mean, in a conscious way, I'm definitely on a journey that is, a long journey of overcoming all of the things. I mean, think about it. What you don't know is I started working at 16.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time I didn't work from 16 to 58 was when I gave birth to my daughter.
Right.
And I just refused to put her in daycare along with her brother for 10-hour work days in corporate America.
Right.
So I stayed home for a year with her. That was the only time I did not. And a lot of that time I had two jobs or three jobs. I sold Mary Kay. I sold Tupperware. I had a tutoring business.
You
I
definitely
sold
did all the
fine
things.
jewelry and made. Yes,
Which is
yes. So,
why
so
taking a
yes,
sabbatical must have really felt like a release for you,
yes.
because you have been journeying since 16. That's a long time. And it
I
doesn't
did
mean that
not
we
know
all
how
haven't,
fast.
but to not get a break, to not have rest, and to not give yourself an opportunity to rest. And
Yeah,
I will say that I appreciate you being so honest and thoughtful about knowing yourself and knowing, wow, this is where I am. Because a lot of times we're not able to just say out loud, this is what I'm struggling with. I know this about myself. I need
mhm,
to make a change. I'm not able to right now, but I'm doing it in small doses, and I
mhm.
think that's really important. I think that's really
Yeah, and
important.
the key, I think also the key is that we can't be ashamed. We have to, part of loving yourself and saying you're good enough is
Yes.
being honest about who you are when you're saying that
Yes.
you're enough. Because
Yes.
I am this way because I live in water where this is what the water
This
produces.
is what the water
I didn't
produces.
end up this way
Absolutely.
in a vacuum. I had a dad who was very, very proud all of his life that
Yep.
he worked 40 years and he never took a day off
Right. Right.
until he got lung cancer and had to take time off. He
Right.
retired early because he had cancer.
Right.
And I had a mom who similarly, she couldn't just take me somewhere. She had to get all the kids in the neighborhood. She had to make sandwiches. She had to get up at 4 a.m. and cut the ends off the bread and the
Right. Right.
triangles and
Right.
put them in the cute Tupperware. That's where my love of Tupperware came, and the special cooler, the
Yeah.
special
All of that. All of
Kool-Aid.
that.
Nothing simple. Always, 110%, 110%. So I
Right.
feel like we as women, Black women especially, we are given this script that we just can't be enough by ourselves, just
Right.
doing,
Just
the
doing.
minimum. Other people can do C work, B minus work. That was my philosophy the last year I was there. And I told a lot of the people that I was mentoring, I said, B minus is
It's
actually
it's gonna
excellent
be
work.
okay.
Your B minus is still B minus, still going to be over and above a lot of the people who are doing mediocre work.
Right. Right.
You don't have to be doing all the things. So I really appreciate, from the time I saw the name of your channel, it really resonated with me. I'm very much, I don't want, I hate the, labels like recovering
Right.
addict, but I'm
Right. Right.
definitely still in recovery. And I'm now at a point where even a year ago, I don't think I could have admitted this,
Right. Right.
because now I think it's important to say it in order to
Yeah.
heal and in order to
Yeah.
bring light to other people who need healing,
Yeah, I
you know.
appreciate that. Yeah. And I think that, the question I wanted to ask you is around like what tips would you share with women who feel exhausted or stuck but don't think they can take a sabbatical? And I think you're already speaking it. It's just allowing yourself to take the sabbatical, allowing yourself to rest and allowing yourself to slow down. Um,
Yeah.
we have some friends
And
in the
therapy. We have not said, yeah, I know you got to
no,
get to the chat. The one thing
no,
I
no.
want to say is I
Go
know
ahead,
our
say.
sister Marissa Weiss, amongst many, many, many other excellent care providers, you probably need, if you are like I was, you probably need to be in community. I worked with a therapist the whole 2 years that I was saving and planning for my sabbatical, before the year before I moved to my daughter's home, and the whole year I was there. And I mean, I saw her like every week, sometimes twice a week, if something was going down that I needed to
Right.
process.
Right.
Because there's also a lot of, this is a whole nother conversation. There's a lot of, I haven't seen people talk about this, and maybe we can do this another time. There is a lot of rage and anger, that we're holding in. And I know people talk about the grief side of anger and depression
Yes.
and anxiety,
Yes.
but we're also really angry. I mean, so sometimes we're running, running, running on the hamster wheel so that
Right.
we don't blow up and go off on
And go
somebody.
off and go off. Yeah. You
Hmm.
know what? I think, listen, who's in here? I think, let me just see. I think this is a
Is Marissa there?
conversation for Marissa. Absolutely. Hi,
Yeah.
Marissa. I
Yeah,
think you
because I'm
should.
pissed. I mean, I'll be honest with you. That was the first thing that I had to process when I left, was I was really furious. I was really furious. And we don't have time to go into all the things that went down that caused me to be upset. I mean, I was happy to leave, but there were things that didn't go the way they were supposed to go or the way I was promised they would
Absolutely.
go. And
Absolutely.
so we have to process that. We have to heal from that. We have to grieve those disappointments.
Yeah, yeah. In the soft landing circle, we're going to be talking quite a bit about grieving, and the grief of leaving folks behind and moving forward. Even though it's something that we're choosing to do, there is still this bit of grief. But I think you're right. I think there's some anger that's underneath all of that that we might need to have a conversation about. Thank you, Prophet Mother. She said, here's a quick question, Dr. Davy and Dr. Crystal. Can you speak to those of us who just enjoy intellectual pursuits and projects, not from a hustling perspective, just for enjoyment? You know,
Yeah, I'm definitely, so my first business idea when I was getting ready to leave, and I thought I needed to leave and start a business at the same time, but I've put that off, was I wanted, it was going to be something like Smart Girls or Brilliant Minds too, or something like that, because I do believe Black women, we are so phenomenally brilliant. We are so they have that new fancy term, Gen Z, multi
multifaceted.
hyphenated, whatever, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But we are just a brilliant species, Black folk in
Indeed.
general.
Indeed.
But I do think that is part of the problem, in that you can be brilliant and still rest. That rest is going to make you shine even brighter, you
Yes,
know.
I agree. I'm the product of a person that loves a challenge. This is why I'm on this YouTube circuit. I took the class and was like, okay, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, partly because I was looking at my friends and myself. I'll speak for myself, and saying we are running hard and fast and we are not taking care of ourselves. We are not slowing down. We are doing too much. And everybody was like, oh, girl, I'm doing all the things. I'm doing all the things. And I was like, I don't want to do all the things. I want to do not all the things. And so it's just a part of who we are. And I do think that if you love to study and you love to research or whatever it is you love to do, that you should be able to do that as long as it doesn't feel like hustle culture, as long as it doesn't drive you, doesn't make you sick, doesn't keep you up. I think you should explore all of it. I'm planning on taking some pottery lessons. I'm planning on doing some things that I love, that I would love to do, that I don't make time for, but I want to make time for it. So I think, to your question, I think you should pursue all of it, whatever is intellectual, even if it is another course, if it is another degree, if it is for your own enjoyment and not because you need it for some kind of like, I don't know,
That's
whatever
the
you
key.
going up against. It's not a need thing. You're not in competition with anyone. But if you just want to pursue it because you have genuine interest, why not? I think that
And
that
if
is
it brings
something we
you
don't do.
joy,
Yes, and
I
if
would
it brings you
say to
joy,
me
why
that's
not?
if it brings you peace, if it brings you joy. So I had to say, so I've been using this mindset of, does it bring you joy? Does it bring you peace? Does it make your life easier? Um, for the whole time that I've been on sabbatical. So I find myself day one of the certification course saying, this doesn't fit any of that. But I'm a person who finishes what they start, and I knew that I would regret it. And I said, well, this is going to help me figure out how can I take this idea of ease, peace, and joy, lower my standards so that I can get what I need to get out of this course. Because guess what? You only needed 70% score in all the assignments of all the points in order to
Right.
get certified.
Right.
So the person who got certified with just passed, and the person who got certified with
A
distinction,
distinction?
it's the same piece of paper. It's just two words. It's just ink. It's just
But it's
ink.
it's but it's
No
not
big
the
deal.
same to you, Dr. Crystal, because that's not who
Exactly.
you are.
So,
It's the
but
same.
I
It
told,
means the same.
well, I made a decision that I was not going to work on Saturdays and Sundays, that I was going
Okay.
to give. I was not going to work all day, Saturday and Sunday, that I was going to So I went to tequila the day I had a paper due the day I was at the tequila place. But on the Saturday before, I says, I'm going to do this paper in 4 hours. And when I'm done, that's all I'm doing. Now, of
Right.
course, I came back on the tequila day and I reviewed it and edited it and put a few
Okay.
bells and whistles on it. But it got the same exact score as the first paper, which I had put an extra 16 hours in.
Oh
So four
no.
hours or 16 hours.
No. We're
So I
not
think
do we're not doing that no more.
we're the ones that have to stop. We're the ones that have to tell ourselves we're enough as we are. We're brilliant as we are. It doesn't even take all of that. You
Right.
don't need 7 jobs. You don't need 7 degrees. You don't need four, three. I meet students all the time. They're working on their third associate's degree, their second bachelor's degree. I'm like, for what?
Right. Right.
These
Right.
jobs don't even pay anymore. You,
No,
okay.
they don't. They don't. Dr. Maya said, so tired of the hustle and grind culture. She is over it. Absolutely. I missed one up here. Let me go back. Yes, Tracy said this
Melissa has a
conversation.
question too.
Oh, I'll
That's
go.
good.
I'll go down. Has shifted my perspective on a few things. Very eye opening. Thank you both. Yes, let it. That's our hope, is that it is opening up some eyes. Let me find the questions. We are the leaders. Yes, 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 yes. We are. We are. I think I missed the question. Oh wait, here we go.
What are you running? I think it was running. What are you? I think it was
Oh
running. So
wait,
what are
where is
you
it at?
running towards?
Oh, okay. Let me
Um,
find it.
I know I'm looking crazy every time I'm staring at my iPad, which is over to
No,
the
no,
left.
it's
So I can't
fine.
see the,
I can't find it, but I think that was it. Dr. Meyer said that. Somebody said, "What are you running towards?"
yeah, I just think that's really important. I just think that's really important. I was, I think, running towards peace and joy and ease, but I didn't know how. I literally did not know how. So the book that I referenced in the beginning, I will
Right.
say that it tells you the theory and the mechanics of how to get away. But there's a really important reflection activities in the beginning that, of course, I ignored and half did. around what are your goals and putting together chunks. So
Right.
that's how I ended up doing the yoga retreat and the
Right.
meditation retreat, because in my mind, I wanted to heal from some of the toxic stuff that I was experiencing.
Right.
And I know I should go do these healthy things, right?
Right.
And so
Absolutely.
I went ahead and paid for those as part of working through that book. What I did not do was the emotional work and the spiritual work of actually grieving the
Right.
things I needed to do. Because I
Right.
actually could have sat in a room on a beach and looked at the water and prayed. And I
And
didn't
got
have to
at
be
it.
in a 3 day detox. I was in a 4 day detox meditation retreat. That was a whole nother story.
I love
But
that.
anyway, I was definitely grieving. I was definitely grieving. So I would highly recommend, if you have some unresolved emotional stuff, start now processing it with a therapist, a social
Yeah.
worker,
Yeah.
not a girlfriend. Find yourself
Find
some
find
therapy.
find some real
Yes,
therapy.
yes. Now,
Yeah.
hear what I said? A glass of glass of wine
I
and a
know.
girlfriend will do a lot of things, right?
But will not give you the real, space and support that you need as you're processing this. Dr. Maya said that she was originally running away from oppression, which fueled her travels, but now she travels because she is running towards finding the country where she can feel safe. And that is a big one. That is a big one. Looking for safety because folks do not feel safe at home. If home is the U.S.,
Absolutely.
I'm speaking at home. Folks right now are feeling very much like, got to get out of here. This is not a safe space.
Hmm.
Absolutely. This is what I had up before. I am a lifelong overachiever, just learning to heed my body's signal to stop. I think everyone in this chat and everyone on this channel and my community happens to be lifelong overachievers. I think we are attracted to each other and we are learning how to heal. And I'm very thankful for all of you because by listening to what you all are talking about and having conversations in your communities is helping me also to slow it down. I am not good at it. My whole if you talk to my family, they'd be like, she ain't doing none of this stuff. She's saying she's trying, but she ain't. And the truth is, we're all trying. We're not perfect, and we're giving ourselves grace. So here we are. Yes,
Well,
Vaughn.
I'm reminded of stages of change, to use something from all those degrees.
All them
There's
degrees.
pre-contemplation is still on the stage of change, and so is
Absolutely.
contemplation. So
Absolutely.
sometimes before you can act your way to the change, you have to be in
You
contemplation and
have to be in
understanding what the
contemplation.
patterns are and why the patterns are, and
Yes.
feeling your way through what needs to happen. Otherwise, you're going to just go off on
Right, right.
yeah, yes, it's just really important. I do want to and I know that we're wrapping. I'm
We
assuming we're going to
we
be.
are wrapping up.
Yeah, the one thing I want to say is tomorrow. So I have written one of the things that I did last summer that I'm very proud of was I wrote a chapter called "You
Okay.
Deserve a Sabbatical" in this
Okay.
book called "Brand Girl, Your Brand's a Big Deal," Volume 3. So it's available on It's supposed to, the what is it? How they have the Amazon bestseller campaign.
Yeah.
It's available for free from 12 noon to 2 p.m. I think it's like $15, but from 12 to 2, it's free on Amazon. It's called "Girl, Your Brand's a Big Deal," and it's volume 3. It's an
Oh
anthology where
wait,
all the people who were in the
girl.
community together, who are working on redefining their businesses and rebranding their businesses, were invited to participate in this anthology. Dr. Sade Adu is the editor, and I can send that to you in a text so that you can post it in the show notes.
Yes, girl, your brand is a big deal.
Girl, your brand's a big deal.
Oh, I love
Yes,
that. What a
it's
fun name.
volume 3,
Volume
and
three.
Dr. Sade Adu, powerful young black sister,
Okay.
early 30s. I don't want to put all her business in the street, but she has a phenomenal marketing business where she does done for you marketing, like live
Okay.
events, the whole 9 yards,
Nice.
as well as these book anthologies and
Nice.
whatnot. But I'm really honored to be a part of it. And there are 10 chapters or 10 authors
Okay,
there.
wonderful.
But my chapter is called "You Deserve a Sabbatical."
You deserve
So
a sabbatical. That's
you
wonderful. So
deserve a
we have
sabbatical.
got to, you have to give me that link so I can definitely get it out there or at least connect it to this. And I will
Hmm.
just ask you, what's next for you after your sabbatical? What are you up to? Are you resting?
Yeah, so I am going to be doing freelance work and contract work. I'm going to
Okay.
continue doing some public speaking and some workshop, as well as building my YouTube channel, and I'm going to
Okay.
continue to travel. Is it Thailand you're going to?
I'm going to Thailand. You coming to visit?
I am not more than coming to visit. Thailand is one of three countries that I'm looking at for an EFL position. I want a part-time English foreign language instructor position.
Okay.
Vietnam is first, Thailand is there, and also Costa Rica is on the list.
Yes,
Yes.
that would
So
be
this would be I don't know
amazing.
how long you're there for. This would be in fall of 20, like a year from now.
Okay, so we're gonna be in we're gonna be in conversation. So we'll continue to talk about that. And I would say this last question is, if someone can't take a full sabbatical, what's one small step that they should take to create some rest for themselves and to find some space in their lives? What would you offer them?
Yeah, so one of the things that I started with was the origin of the idea of the Sabbath. You can start by claiming time for yourself. If Sunday doesn't work for you and your family schedule, you need a day. And if you can't take every Sunday, you can take every other Sunday. Take one Sunday a month, but you need to find an entire day to carve out to think about what you want for your life, what you want for your future, and how you can move forward with your real dream, which might be to take a sabbatical. Because people can do a stay at home sabbatical. I mean, I believe a sabbatical you should be traveling, but for people who don't
I
want to
agree.
travel, maybe your first sabbatical is 30 days at home or 7 days at home.
I
Or
love
maybe
that.
you leave the kids and that partner, you go somewhere else, you go to somebody else's house.
I love
So
that.
I
I
would,
love that
yeah, I
idea.
would definitely encourage this. So start this Sunday. Pull out your calendar now and
Pull
block
out your
out next
calendar.
time. Call people, text them, be like, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this, I'm not
I'm
doing
not
this.
doing it. I'm not doing all
Go
those
spend the
things.
day at the park, at the beach, get
I
a
love it.
hotel room, hide, run.
Hide, but take some time for yourself. That's what I hear you saying.
Exactly. Yes.
Take some
Yes.
time for yourself. Well, thank you, sis. I so appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And I just want to highlight Dr. Crystal's channel here on Sabbatical with Dr. Crystal. You can go online and look her up. And then I also wanted to let you all know that I will be on Dr. Maya's channel on Friday at 6:30, and we will be talking about Malaysia and Thailand. So I do hope that if this resonated for you in any way, share it, share it, share it with others. Thank you for being in this live with us. We really appreciate it. It's been great. I hope someone has learned a little bit, something that they can take with them, with them, and something that you could just ponder on. And if you are not there yet, because we're all on our way there, wherever the there is, it's okay. It's okay to be wherever you are at this point. Give yourself grace and just thank you, thank you, thank you. So it's been real. Thank you so much. Cheers. Cheers till next week. And remember not to do all the things. All right, wait,
Yes.
let me bring, cheers. I have to cheers with you. Cheers with you, Dr. Crystal. Yes, cheers. Thank you. So good to see you. Yes, 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 yes. You all be well. Be well. All right. Bye, everyone. All right.